Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this morning's masterclass. And this morning is all about act, behave, and speak, although it's impossible to fail. So let's talk about that because this is part of the universal law. And it was also part of mystery school that there's a way to be, to totally be. And in that beingness, there was no such a thing as failure. And so we actually create the illusion of failure. What does that mean? How can you create the illusion of failure? Well, the word fail means that something didn't go the way you perceived it to be and perceived it to be a success. But it can't actually fail at anything. That's a 3D paradigm. And in this masterclass today, every morning you do this, you act, behave, and speak it as though it's impossible to fail. Because every morning your body listens and says, well, I'm up, I'm here, I'm functioning. So simple. So simple. It does the things that say, I'm a success, I'm alive, I'm amazing. Jean, what about when I've got disease, whether it be vomiting, headache, diabetes, cancer, chronic fatigue, Crohn's disease, allergies, intolerances, or whatever? The body doesn't actually know it's failing. We actually say that. We actually say that something's not right, it's wrong. But the truth is that you are the perfect example of everything working perfectly. And so if today's masterclass and this week's practice is act, behave, and speak as though it's impossible to fail, it's actually the mind, and it's the way your mind, our mind, everyone's mind is thinking. And if you're thinking, wow, I don't want to try, I don't want to give it a go, I've given it a go, I don't want to do it again, I'm frightened, what if I fail? What if it's not right? That's the illusionary mind. The illusionary mind or ego mind will say, oh my gosh, right or wrong, something of this 3D paradigm that we have. So I'm going to take us all back to when we were a baby. When we were born, no matter what the situation or conditions were, we acted and behaved and spoke as though it's impossible to fail. Impossible. So impossible. We didn't even think about failure. We didn't even know the word failure at all. What is that word, failure? Again, a 3D paradigm. 3D has us believing there's duality, there's a right and a wrong, black and white, all those sort of things. But there isn't such a thing in reality or in the absolute. Mystery School would teach about the absolute and say, well, you know what? Just step away from it, step above it, step below it, step beside it. That illusion. So let's go to children again. Now the baby's grown up and is learning life, learning to eat, learning to crawl, learning to roll, learning to sleep. And if you look at children, they act a particular way. They like to act, called dress ups, pretend. We actually do that as adults as well. But when we do it with thinking that we're not good enough. There's something wrong with me. I'm not enough. None of it is actually true. None. So what if we took insights from children of acted a different way? Is it real? Not real? That's up to you. That's your perception. But if you do act as though it's impossible to fail, your brain doesn't actually know what's real or not real. And so, again, you do it as soon as you wake up, first thing in the morning. Bang, you're awake. You acted as though it's impossible to fail because you got up and went, good morning, or if you woke up grumpy, or good morning, can't wait for the day. You're already in that act. Now let's talk about the behavior of things, because behavior is what we're doing, acting part, but what we're doing. And if we're really conscious of what is my behavior, am I behaving as though I can't fail? Give you an example. When my children were learning to drive, and they learned to drive at the same time, and I bought them driving lessons. I didn't actually want to teach them how to drive in the beginning. I said, I'll take you for drives for practice, but I'm going to let somebody else do that. Why? Because sometimes it's easier that somebody else take that part as a mum, because sometimes they go, oh, you don't know anything, mum. Okay, let the driving instructor do it. So they learned how to behave on, you already know how to drive. It's impossible to fail. Now, one son learned to drive an automatic car and one son learned to drive a manual car. And in that state, both of them said, oh, I'm really scared. I'm not sure what to do. That's okay. I want you to act as though you already know. And the way I want you to act is I want you to close your eyes and just imagine a car. Imagine it's my car, Dad's car, or the car of your dreams. Just imagine it's there. And I want you to imagine opening the door, sitting in the seat, and I took them through the process. And as I took them through the process of imagining, their body and their mind was behaving like they were already driving. So when the car instructor came, the car driving instructor came, they behaved the same as they acted. They got in the car, started the engine, listened to her instructions, and that behavior is actually quantum. You see, the word quantum means a particular behavior, and all of your cells go like this and vibrate at a different frequency and behave a different way. So does your brain. And the brain in medical intuition is your general learning, just learning. And so acting, imagine it, the body and the frequency and the quantum behaved in the way that they can't fail, because all I got to do is go to the car, open the door, sit in it, start the car. That's it. But then it was the speaking part. And that's where they got a bit tricky, because they both said, yeah, but we're not sure. And what if we fail? And what if we crash? And what if their conversations, not just to me, to themselves. If we speak like it's impossible to fail, then we've done the alchemy process. Triangle. So we've acted, and then in this corner is we've behaved, and in this corner was spoken. Alchemy. The triangle is a symbol for alchemy. So as they started to change their speaking after the first driving lesson, although the one son, after his driving in the manual, he didn't speak very good, because he kept stalling the car because he couldn't work the clutch and the accelerator at the same time. But as they had their second and third lessons, they acted as though, do you know what, I can do this. I can actually do this. They behaved in a different way. Now, part of acting and behaving could be the way you sit. So imagine, okay, I've sat down. How do I feel? Compared to sitting in the car, oh, because part of acting and behaving is the way you stand. Are you standing up tall? Are your shoulders out? Is your chest out? Are you taking a deep breath in? How are your feet? Are your feet turned in? Are your feet ground? Are your feet turned out? Are you leaning to the side? All of those things are really important for acting, behaving, and speaking as though it's impossible to fail. Now, just go back to the beginning. It is impossible to fail. That's a universal law. That was mystery school. We tell everyone during mystery school in ancient times, it's impossible to fail. Impossible. Because if you break down that word impossible, it's impossible. And failure is not a thing. It's a 3D paradigm and concept of the ego construct that we have this duality. So let's go back to my sons and driving. If it's impossible to fail, well, they can only do one thing and have learning lessons and mistakes. That's it. And that's part of the soul evolution, is to have learning lessons and mistakes. And in fact, if I don't make mistakes and if I don't have problems, then how do I learn? Because sometimes people then say, oh my gosh, I've got all these problems. I don't know what to do. I wish I'd just go away and I wish I didn't have problems. Well, that's part of the act, behave, and speak, although it's impossible to fail, because if I don't have problems, my brain and the brain synapses don't grow. When we have a problem, what happens is we have like these fireworks go off in our brain. And what happens is new neural pathways go, new, and you will find the solutions. You will always find solutions. Why? Because it's impossible to fail. It's just impossible. Now, what about, Jen? It's impossible to fail that I want to actually skydive and I'm going to do it without a parachute. Well, hang on a minute. We live in 3D world, as well as all the other dimensions, and all past lives where we used to be able to fly in things. So if I act, behave, and speak, it's impossible to fail. One of the things I'll do is if I want to skydive, I'm going to research. What do I need? Oh, I need a plane. I need a pilot. For me, skydiving. And I take clients skydiving. If they're frightened or whatever, I'll go skydiving. I've done it once. But for me, I have someone else do it. And you check the parachute. But if I'm doing it myself, okay, what do I need to do? I'm going to act and behave as though I am such a skilled skydiver. So skilled. I might research. I might go to the airport where they do it. I might go to their office. I might look up training. I might YouTube. You're acting as though it's just impossible to behave. And if I behave like the person who is skilled, and it's called getting coach or mentor or something like that, then I can't fail. Can't fail. Because then I get educated. And that's what the boys were doing. They were getting educated by the driving instructor. Now do this. Now look at the mirrors. Now do this. Now do this with parking. Now do this with U-turns. And then it's the practice of practice, 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 practice. So let's go back. It's impossible to fail. So if it's impossible to fail, no matter what you do, it's always going to be a success. Because success is the story that you tell yourself. Now we go back to the speak part. How are you speaking about yourself or the thing or situation or environment, whatever it is? We're not talking about anybody else, just you. How are you speaking about it? Are you criticizing yourself, which is held in the pituitary gland and the third eye? Are you constantly criticizing and then speaking, whether it's speaking out loud like me or in your head? You see, there's part of the body right in the thymus gland, ancient cells called actinic cells from Lemuria that just never, ever die. And what they do, they eavesdrop and they go, what? What is saying? What did you just say? You're a failure? You can't succeed? No problems. And then we start to take things personally by ourselves, from others. We critique. So if we speak better about ourselves, well, you can't fail. Here's an affirmation. It's impossible to fail because I know anything's possible. But it's impossible to fail because there's no such a thing. It's just a construct of the ego 3D paradigm. And of course, as I said, you need to go and research. If I'm going to be a skydiver, don't just jump on the plane and whatever. Research. Go find out. Where is this going to be used? How can it be used? What if you used it every single day, no matter what you did? if you're starting an exercise program because you want to get fit, if you're booking flights to overseas and you've never been traveling, if you're wanting to lose weight, you can't fail. Can't. If you're wanting a new relationship, if you're wanting to live in a new country, if you want to write a book, if you want to clean the house, if you want to bake a cake and you've never done that, anything, all the real basics, you can't fail. However, it also is who you surround yourself with, because we are like the 5 people that we surround ourselves with. And if you've got other people not supporting you in your vision and in your goals, your dreams and desires, you might then go into the quantum, into their story of duality, it'll never work, failure. And the only person that can judge you is you, not others on, are you a success or failure? But what about, Jane? I'm studying to become a doctor. I'm at university now. I've got my exams and I don't pass. And they say, fail. Or at school, fail. Well, you haven't failed. What you've got is results, because there's no such a thing as failure. And in those results of anything, just like when my younger son driving the manual car, he kept stalling the car because he just couldn't quite work out the accelerator and the clutch. He didn't fail. He just kept getting results until the 4th lesson, where he went, Mom, I got it. I got it. He was so excited. And it does start with what you say. So we'll go backwards to go forwards. And I'll show you what I mean. If we go fail, cross it out. That's why on the screen you can see the word fail is like a bit weird. Cross it out. There's no failure. Then we're going to go to I'm possible. Then we're going to go to how am I speaking? Then how do I behave? How do I act? In the meantime, all of this is coming back to your thoughts. What are your thoughts? And you can stop your thoughts at any time. Stop. That's it. Just stop. It's not real. It's just not real. But what if they're obsessive, which is held in a large barrel, round and round and round? Just stop. You can choose to think another thought. And then speak a different way. And then the behavior, get up and move. Move your body. Behavior and acting is so important that when you move your body, what comes is a different perspective. A huge, huge, huge different perspective. It's like when I've had clients that do the 1-month one-on-one Bite Me program and they want to get healthy or lose weight or whatever it is. And I say, just move. Just 10 minutes a day, then 15, then 20. Yeah, but I can't. I've got chronic fatigue. I've got adrenal fatigue. My feet ache. I've got lymphoma in my legs. That's okay. Just move. Make it 5 minutes. Get up from your chair. Get up from the bed. Walk to the toilet. Come back again. And see that you're active, behaved, and then speak a different way, because you can't fail. And the next day, if you can't get up, that's okay as well. Just act and behave and speak in a different way. When you're lying in the bed and you're in chronic pain with your fibromyalgia, I'd love you just to maybe prop your pillows up and sit up a different way. Maybe behave differently by speaking nicely. Have some affirmations playing in the background on your mobile phone if you've got it beside your bed. Watch things that are not doom and gloom. Stop watching the news. Stop watching and listening to people that are not going to support you. All of these things that act, behave, and speak as though it's impossible to fail. It's actually really quite easy to do this, to be this. Remember, you did this as children. You acted as though you were the astronaut, the nurse, the doctor, the mum, the whatever. You're already there. And adults, we do it too. We're acting and behaving, but sometimes as though the only thing is failure. There's no such a thing. And of course, if you're going to do something like skydiving or whatever it is, you're going to act and behave as though you're an experienced skydiver. And that and behaving was low research. So, what is your golden heart? And what's a golden heart? A golden heart is where you all get to share, and you're going to unmute yourself when I call out your name to share what did you get from today's Mr. School lesson? What did you get from the masterclass that you can practice today and you can share with other people? Knowing also that in my Facebook group, you're going to have that image so that you can save it to your phone. Have that reminder. Have it as a screensaver. Print it off if you want to. Mine's printed off right here. So let's do some sharing. And it's not a golden nugget, it's a golden heart because you drop into your heart and you go, boom, got it. So we'll go Leona, Andrew, and then Kelly.
Morning, everybody. My golden heart this morning was when I got up this morning, my husband went blah, blah, fear. So I still acted and behaved like I would be going for a walk, but then I had to change my thoughts. So I wasn't in fear.
Beautiful. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My golden heart this morning was just to realize that a problem is really good for your brain. It helps you create new neural pathways.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. If we don't have problems, we actually can't grow. I feel very blessed when we have problems because my affirmation is I always find efficient, easy, effective solutions. Always. Let's go to Kelly.
Good morning, everyone. My golden nugget overall was that, it doesn't matter. You've got to have the problems, the darkness, I guess, with it all, to learn our lesson, to show us the correct way to go, what would I say? I spoke to my mum, kind of like Leanne, and it was just one complaint after the other of what's happened while I've been away. And I was like, yeah, but it all doesn't matter. You feel okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. I did the washing and, I'm okay. I'm like, well, then that's the best thing you could be. And it kind of stopped her. She was kind of really shocked. And I said, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And she's like, oh, okay, no worries, travel safe. And it just changed the way that she was being. So it was, wow, it kind of worked. Like it really flowed for her.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Kelly. Let's go Kim, Laverne, Lou, and Pauline. I'll read yours out. Thank you. Oh, Lou, I'll read yours out too. Let's go Kim and Laverne.
Good evening, everyone. Mine is no matter what I do, I'm a success.
Beautiful. That's a great affirmation, everyone. So Kim just gave you a gift. Thank you, Kim. Kim, let's go, Laverne.
Morning, everyone. My golden heart was also, as Andrew had said, having problems increases your brain synapses and connection and, finds a lovely, beautiful solution.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Kiara had, we can never fail. I love this. Pauline's got, my golden heart is to move so that I can get into the feeling of the behavior that I want to embody. And Lou has got, my golden heart is, I'm possible. So, so, so simple. We act, we behave and speak as though it's impossible to fail. And there's no such a failure, ever, ever, ever. It's just a construct of this 3D paradigm. And enjoy being you and acting, behaving, and speaking that way. So thank you, Super Souls. I will see you next week for the masterclass, and have the bestest week, knowing there's no such a thing as failure. That's it. Bye.